There comes a point in your career when you realize something fundamental. Your most powerful strategic models, they're not learned in a seminar. They're actually excavated from your own history. So today, we're not just going to tell a story. We're going to dissect the origin of a framework to really understand how strategy is revealed, not just invented.
And this quote from Steve Jobs, it's really our guide for this. It perfectly captures the central idea that the most profound strategies are often discovered in retrospect, by finally recognizing a pattern that was completely invisible while you were living it.
You'll find this tension in most successful careers. Day to day, the moves you make can feel disconnected, maybe even a bit random. But when you look back, a coherent, almost inevitable pattern starts to emerge. Let's trace one of those patterns now. The origin of this particular strategic model wasn't found in a boardroom or some business plan. No, it started with something far more personal, a game that ended up serving a much deeper purpose. The foundation was, of all things, chess. At first, it was just a way to bridge a difficult gap. It became a kind of silent language to communicate with a very strict father. It all started with a simple, personal need for connection, and that planted the first seed of a much larger idea. But then the game evolved. At a time when I felt inadequate, comparing myself to peers who seemed so much more talented, chess became a redeemer. It was this private space where I could build tangible skills, and with it, a sense of competence I felt I was really lacking. And here's where we see that retrospective connection. This personal pursuit, it unintentionally built a series of professional bridges. The analytical rigor from chess directly supported the discipline needed for a CPA license. The game then became a path to Toastmasters to work on communication. It even led to a feature in a national newspaper. The key here is that none of this was planned. So all of this was building to a critical turning point, a moment where this private, personal metaphor was consciously articulated and then transformed into a public strategic tool. This was the core message, crystallized in a speech I called Chess Pawn. It was the very first time that personal journey was framed as a universal principle, that starting with limitations isn't a disadvantage, because it's only the piece that starts with the most constraints, the pawn, that has the potential for the greatest transformation. And this is the crucial point. Articulating that core metaphor wasn't just some reflective exercise. It actually became the foundation for a significant professional achievement, winning a World Public Speaking Championship. It proved the power of a strategy that's grounded in authentic, lived experience. So when we distill this narrative, it reveals 3 core insights. This is really where the story becomes a transferable strategy for understanding your own professional path. Okay, insight number 1. The most authentic and effective frameworks are not theoretical constructs. They are discovered within your own history. The pawn-to-queen model wasn't just invented at a whiteboard. It emerged from recognizing the pattern of real, lived experience. The second insight is all about the power of a core metaphor. Chess served as the glue, connecting seemingly unrelated fields: accounting, public speaking, leadership. It created a single, coherent narrative that unified all these disparate skills into a compelling story of value. And finally, this brings us right back to our opening idea. True strategy isn't just about projecting 5 years into the future. It is equally, if not more, about having the clarity to recognize the patterns in your past, to really understand the logic that has been guiding you, even when you weren't aware of it. So how does this journey of discovery fit within the larger pawn-to-queen framework itself? Well, this active reflection is, in fact, a key part of the final stage. This entire process, looking back, identifying the pattern, articulating the metaphor, and then codifying it into insights. This is characteristic of what we call the queen stage. It's that point where you move beyond your own success and begin to translate your lived experience into a model that provides real clarity and value for other people. Which really just leaves us with a single question to consider. What hobby, what past struggle, or what seemingly random interest from your own personal history are you dismissing right now that might just hold the essential code to your most authentic and powerful strategic model?